God bless everybody. Today it is January 5th of 2023, and this is a Daniel 8 update. There is a lot happening on the ground. It is moving quickly. I believe there's an imminent attack on Iran that's going to happen fairly quickly, possibly in the next month or two. So let's look at what's going on the ground. So I had indicated there was a number of dates that I thought were extremely important. And I want to point these dates out because I think they're extremely important. Now, I did this 5 days ago, this video. I've been doing this for about a month and a half on this very specific date, but it keeps evolving, and so I keep bringing you updates. But let's look at these dates, and if you go down into this description of this video that I did 5 days ago, so that would have been on the 1st of January. Click on this show more, and then you'll realize if you go down here, I indicated that the 3rd of January through the February 14th were extremely important. And there's a reason for this. If you go into Daniel 10, I'll show you that in just a minute. But I had indicated possibly something would happen on the 3rd. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe we'd see an invasion into Syria. But as I showed in this video 5 days ago, there had just been a meeting with Turkey, Syria, and Russia, and Erdogan was looking for air rights, and they parlayed the meeting. I believe Russia now is working with Turkey so that he can keep Assad in place, and so Turkey then started to move out of Syria, allow Assad to control his area, while Turkey repositions to go to northern Iraq so that he can push the Kurds down through that border southeast towards Baghdad, because they're going to drive these Kurds down through Iraq and Syria. And so Assad is going to push them east, the Kurds east, as basically Erdogan pushes them southeast. And so let's look at that map real quick. So what's happening is they're trying to keep Assad in position. Russia doesn't want Assad to be overthrown. And Turkey really doesn't want Syria to be destabilized by overthrowing Assad. And Assad's in a bad place, and so he's got to capitulate and work with Turkey, or he's going to lose his regime. And so Turkey's going to allow Assad to take care of this area. And then Turkey's going to move up over, and he's going to start driving the Kurds down towards Baghdad. The Kurds are extremely important in Daniel 10 prophecy, chapter 10 in the prophecy, because he keeps bringing up the Medes. And so you need to understand that if you go back into the history books, all you got to do is look up the ancient Medes, and it will explain to you that these are the Kurds, and so this is extremely important. Now, there's some things in Daniel 10 that tell us what's coming, and it's coming soon, so you need to watch these things. So Daniel has this vision. He's distraught for 3 weeks. He can't eat, he can't sleep, he's in a terrible condition. And so on the 24th day of the first month, well, think this month, okay, so this could happen this month, on the 24th day, he's standing on the great river of the Tigris, or Euphrates, and that if you keep going down in through this, he indicates that there would be an attack on Persia, that he would withstand 21 days, and then Michael, the chief prince, would come to help and basically knock the king of Persia or Iran out. And then if you go into verse 20, it indicates that when Michael returns to fight against the Prince of Persia, that after that we would see Grisha come, and that's Turkey. And so we need to keep these scriptures in our minds when we're looking at the prophecy of Daniel 8, because this all works together. So as we look at the map, he's telling us something that's extremely important, that's affecting us in real time. I'm going to show you that in the articles that are coming out right now about possibly what's happening in front of us. And so he says, look, Turkey's not going to get into this right away. They're coming in a little while. Right now, Michael, through his forces, are going to go against Iran, okay? And he's going to battle him for 21 days, as it indicated in that verse. But then after this period of time, he's going to send Michael and Turkey against them, okay? And then it will end quickly, because once you bring Michael into the picture, this is not going to last very long. And so this is extremely important. So what is happening in real time that might be affecting us as we speak? So I indicated that I was concerned about this set of dates, or this window of time, because it indicates that Daniel's distraught for 3 weeks prior to this vision and this angel coming to him on the 24th day of January, okay? At least that's the way I'm reading this, on a Gregorian calendar date. And it works with my paradigm that I've shown you in the past on these videos. So if he's standing on the Tigris on the 24th, and 3 weeks prior to this he's been fasting, okay, so that takes me to the 3rd. So what happened on the 3rd that was important, and what might be starting this chain of events? So when I made the original video about a month and a half ago about how Daniel was distraught for 3 weeks, he was trying to figure this out, that this would end up on the 3rd of January. And on the 3rd of January, I did not know this at the time. I just found this out recently, and that's why I'm bringing you these pieces of information as they come out. I didn't realize that when Donald Trump, our president at the time, had assassinated, basically, he killed this high-level general terrorist from Iran, General Soleimani, was slain 3 years ago. This is extremely important. So, on the 3rd, this is the 3-year anniversary of this killing of this general. We had a number of things happen on this very specific date, and this might be starting this chain of event to the destruction of Iran shortly in the next month or so here, month or two here. So on the 3rd, 2 things happened. We had the anniversary, well, actually 3 things happened. The anniversary of this death of Soleimani, the general, this Iranian general, and on that day, on the anniversary, and I keep talking about this 3rd date, that 2 rockets were sent onto one of our bases, and so we had this attack on our base on the 3rd, and we also saw Israel create airstrikes, multiple airstrikes against the Damascus airport. And so, is this going to start a chain of events? Because Iran is not going to allow this to stand. They are going to retaliate. So, Iran comes out, condemns this assassination of this commander, and we had these 2 attacks on Iran's facilities, one in Syria. Actually, they were both in Syria, Damascus, and on this base in the United States. And so, through this, they're going to retaliate. He's told us that they're going to retaliate, and they're going to create revenge upon this act of killing this man here. And so this is extremely important, because this is going to rear its ugly head soon. And as you can see, this is fairly widely reported that something's going to happen. So I'm very concerned at this moment that we're going to see a lot of things happening here. Also, the Iraqi leadership, imagine that, because they're in the middle of all this, is now concerned about their survivability through this, because they understand the situation. Turkey's getting ready to invade. Assad is going to basically drive the Kurds into their country. Turkey's going to drive the Kurds down through Iraq towards Baghdad, and this Iraqi government's going, what are we going to do about all this, and how are we going to deal with it? And this is just a side note, but we have to watch the signs and seasons and the stars and the moon and all the sun and all these different things. We have this prehistoric era comet coming through at the same time as all this is happening on the ground. It's a really interesting time that we're in. Also, this Friday we have a full moon, so are we building up to something in the next few days, possibly an attack from Iran onto Israel, or possibly U.S. targets, or something that's going to cause an escalation of this confrontation in the Middle East? And this is escalating because Putin and Erdogan just had another phone call in discussing how they're going to deal with Syria and Iraq. And that was just 3 hours ago from the time this video was made. And this is 6:05 a.m. right now in the morning, as you can see. So this was moving quickly. Iran is actually concerned about warplanes coming over and attacking them in their, some of these designated areas and different things like that. And so this is escalating quickly, and people need to be aware that there's a prophecy going on possibly right now, that when we get into that date of the 3rd, which just happened 2 days ago, that we had this anniversary, these attacks that are possibly going to lead to more attacks, escalation, and potentially this January 24th date would be the time when Erdogan might invade into Iraq. So that possibly would give him, it's about 3 weeks from now, that would give him time to reposition and start to come down in here. And then that other set of dates of February 14th, what that is this. So if you come back and look at the dates, you realize the 24th radiates, I've got this set up to where it radiates 21 days prior and 21 days after, because it indicates that he's distraught for 3 weeks before he sees the vision on the 24th, but then Michael comes over and attacks, and Turkey comes in afterwards. And so my thought is at this moment, and this is real time, some of this is speculation, as we're trying to figure this out as we're going here, that Turkey could actually invade into Syria, or into Iraq, not necessarily Syria, because Syria is being covered by Assad, that he would invade into Iraq around the 24th, because this has now started on the 3rd, and so that event on the 3rd was actually the start of this. Soleimani's anniversary of his 3 years that he's been killed, and 2 attacks, one on Damascus and one on and 2 missiles hit one of our bases. And then we're going to see a response from Iran from this, and I believe that will escalate. Now, what I think will happen on that front is this. So it indicates that he's attacking, God's attacking this nation for 21 days, and then he sends Michael against him. And so my question is that if you bring this out, the first part could be that Israel is attacking Iranian military targets. This is then going to retaliate from Iran attacking Israel targets in the next month, few days, 3 weeks. That's going to escalate this quickly. And then what's going to happen is Turkey on the 24th, and this is speculation based on the dates and everything that I'm talking about here. The Turkey would then come in on the 24th and start this land invasion. But when he brings Turkey into this, he says it happens quickly. He even sends Michael against us. And so I don't think Iran's going to stand long. And so that's why I talk about that I don't know that it's 21 days after the 24th. I know that he tells us it ends quickly and that there's 3 weeks of mourning prior to that. So I'm trying to line this all up. And so I just know that we're going to see the fall of Iran fairly quickly. And what that's going to do is when Iran falls and Turkey drives through here and destroys Iran, once the Kurds have been pushed down here in a line, that's what it says. Daniel's standing right here, pretty much. He's watching this whole thing happen. He's watching this whole thing collapse down. That when Iran falls, Turkey is then going to build this 10-nation caliphate of radical Muslims, and they're going to have to come through Iraq, and they're going to come through Jordan, and even part of Israel, because if you get into this area down here, because Turkey ends up in Egypt, because 3 of the nations of Ezekiel 38 and 39 are northern African nations, and we talked about this, that they have to go through Jordan and Gaza and Israel. They have to get to Egypt, and then he brings them back up between the 2 seas. And even Jordan right now is indicating that this is a problem because they understand the pressure that Israel is putting on them by attacking Iran. And Iran is not a friend to anybody here. So Jordan's even under pressure at this point. Another country you got to watch, or a couple countries you have to watch, are Yemen and Oman. This could be a problem for Iran too. So maybe Erdogan actually has Iran surrounded by 4 different directions, because he's got factions down here, he's got the Taliban here, he sort of controls Turkmenistan. He's controlling Azerbaijan. He's going to control Iraq. He's controlling Syria. And so Iran's just in a really bad place. And with Tehran right here, and this Caspian Sea, you got the Red Sea down here. This is a real mess, and this is gonna break out real soon. So let's just keep an eye on this, and hopefully nothing happens, because, when we get into these prophecies, we generically talk about them, but this affects, millions of people, different groups of people, good people in a lot of instances. So we need to pray for these people. This is set in stone. This is going to happen. God's already ordained this to happen. It's going to happen. Judgments are set. Even our nation is under judgment. All nations and all people are under judgment at this moment. So we need to understand what's coming. We need to get our oil in our lamp, and we need to get ready and get right with the Lord Jesus and realize that He is the only door to success here. And that is to get souls to heaven and get them on the right side of equation here, or we're going to lose souls as this moves forward. People are going to start losing hope that the world is disintegrating in front of them. God bless everybody. Have a great night.